this video, we will talk about what is happening with Valko being cancelled and also Infinite Nikki's censorship, outfit changes, post-release, cultural differences, internalized misogyny, internalized racism, and also what you can do to help decide what happens to the games, whether you agree with my thoughts or not. Hey everyone, this is cakemoonsugar cake here. This was very sudden and not planned at all kind of video, so I didn't edit much, so I could bring this very quickly to you, which means feel free to alt tab and leave me in the background because this will be a very podcasty sort of video without my usual edits. And when I show important stuff, I'll just add this camera sound effect so you know that something important like visually has come up. Thank you. In case you haven't heard yet, Love and Deep Space new character Valko has been officially cancelled. Not only that, the developers also announced that they will never ever do a new character again in the future. As usual, there is a lot of contradictory claims being made online, so I wanted to share with you everything that I have found so far, and also would like to give a special thanks to Seiya for the help with the proof as well. Plus, some Chinese and Korean players are upset at the promotional content for the new character Valko. They claim that the contents have mentions to 731, a real murder that has happened in China, and also stalking behavior overall. I'll explain these in more detail in a little bit. As you can see, these claims represent a good portion of the Chinese and Korean player base, most posts having thousands of likes. But there is also a minority of players who are now feeling empowered to display racist and homophobic behavior. They claim things like the character's skin is dark, as if that's not appealing somehow, or that he's gay and for some reason that's a bad thing, or that the other characters will be forgotten now because there is a new introduction, even though the game introduces other characters before as well, and that Western players shouldn't say anything because this is a Chinese game for Chinese players. So that's insane. At least these posts don't have much traction nor likes, which is hopefully an indication that they are simply a very loud minority. However, it is important to note that the company's reaction can, unfortunately, further empower this sort of behavior. Now, for the first claims, let's talk briefly about each one so you have the full context before I move on to what's happening with the Western players and what you can do about it. But please know that we will talk about very heavy and serious topics and murder, so please feel free to skip this chapter of the video if these are triggering topics for you. Unit 731 was a Japanese facility that conducted lethal human experiments on Chinese, Koreans, and other Southeast Asians, including children and pregnant women. An estimated 14,000 people have been murdered in the facility itself, plus over 200,000 people killed by the biological weapons that they developed through these experiments. No documented survivors are known. In Love and Deep Space, there is allegedly a record of human experiments called Test Record AO731. The connection between human experimentations and that very specific number is unfortunate, especially for the Chinese and Korean players that have family members who were affected by the real Unit 731 in real life. Not only that, they changed the number now to 0611. The problem is that 0611 is also connected to a similar tragedy in China, which to me, even if that was a mistake at first, it feels almost like this is on purpose because now it's too much coincidence, right? Then we have the China Women's News, who recently reported about Valko breaking into the MC home as a normalization or romanticization of women's safety for entertainment. The line used in the character promotion was, "What's so bad about inviting the wolf to your home?" And since many Southeast Asian women in particular suffer very frequently with men stalking them and breaking into their homes, many players felt uncomfortable with that very casual mention. Lastly, there was also the horrible teaser that has a horror-style vibe with the line "in the kitchen," followed up by "don't bathe in the pot," which many felt like it was a disrespectful connection to the murder of Abby Choi. Then the developers sent out an apology claiming Valko was now cancelled and they will never ever make a new character again. This obviously just made everyone more upset since they did not address the 731, the 611, the stalking behavior, nor the racist and homophobic remarks of the tiny minority either, which again simply empowers the poor behavior of those few. On the Western side, many players are upset at the Chinese players specifically because the character is now being removed. As we just checked though, it seems that there is only a tiny minority of Chinese players who are displaying racist and homophobic behavior. So I would like to ask everyone to be careful when voicing your opinions and your frustration to not accidentally present the same internalized racism that we should be fighting against. What worries me the most, though, is how the company is willing to make drastic decisions and change base of opinions of very small minorities. And since this is the same company as Infinite Nikki developers, makes me worry about the future of Nikki as well. Not to mention, if games cater to women, undergo such heavy criticism for everything that happens, while other bigger games can do whatever they want with no consequence, this is just further setting us back with precedent of not really having much more options of games made for us at all in the future. Overall, we have a bunch of players who are upset at each other. So I'd like to share on this video a petition to ask the developers to continue with the release of Valko, but only on the global servers. And of course, it would be great if they could acknowledge the actual issues and reward all players as well. The petition will be linked down below on the pinned comments, and hopefully they at least try to figure out why these mistakes were being done, if they were really mistakes, and also address them properly. Now, Infinite Nikki itself is no short of drama this week either. In case you haven't heard that, in Update 2.6, Infold has released the new Final Evolution alternative piece for the outfit Timeless Melody. In this outfit, they shortened the dress and removed the ruffles near the chest area. Since they removed the ruffles in the chest area, they decided to stretch the top parts instead to cover up now a ruffleless area. From my research, they adjusted this a few hours post-release. But because of that, many Western players are now blaming all the Chinese players, claiming that Infold has only changed it due to the complaints of the Chinese players who are in favor of censoring Nikki's outfits, so she dresses more modestly. And now with the release of the swimsuit, the situation is escalating once again. Now, before sharing your thoughts and before I tell you what you can do if you'd like, I wanted to point out some very important things that you should know about this topic. First of all, I've only personally found a very small and loud minority of players who are in favor of censorship. So no matter your opinion on the topic, please be careful to not blame every single Chinese player based off the opinion of few. Not to mention there are players outside of China who are in favor or against the censorship, and we all know that this is in every country, including yours. Second, this discussion isn't actually just about censorship. It's also about changing outfit details post-release. Timeless Melody was not the first time this happened. Actually, Infold consistently do that almost every single update. For example, Born Flawless Final Evolution used to remove jackets and now it doesn't. Steps Against Order used to hide the feathers with jackets, then Infold put it back again, then Infold removed it again. So please keep in mind it can be frustrating to invest in an outfit after purchase for it to be changed without notice. And it's also frustrating to make beautiful outfits with amazing clipping options for them to be removed after. In my opinion, we need toggles to us whether we want parts of the outfit to be hidden or not. And we also need the outfits to be released ready, not them being released broken to be fixed after. Third, Infinite Nikki is a dress-up video game. Similar to playing with paper dolls, our Nikki represents us. We can be a priest, we can be a prince, a dynasty emperor. In real life, we couldn't. But in this wonderful game, we can. We can be whatever or whoever we want. The freedom to express ourselves creatively, making our dream outfits, that's the point of the game. So I want to share here a few points of view that I found while searching about this topic and also share my personal opinion. Hopefully that helps us understand each other and this situation a little better. First, I'd like to ask you to think of the women who don't have a choice. And I mean in real life. The women who can only dress up how they really want inside video games, like Infinite Nikki. And especially if you're in favor of the censorship, please remember that you are choosing to be in favor of the censorship because you can choose. Many women out there right now don't have the choice to be in favor nor against. They don't have any choice at all. Their only space to express themselves is video games and online spaces like this. Other players have pointed out that their children plays this game and they don't want their kids to come across Reddit and Discord posts of very provocative adult-looking outfits. I fully understand that, and I fully support responsible parents curating the content that their young children has access to online. But I have to remind you that Reddit, Discord, and Infinite Nikki itself being a gacha game are not for children. Now, I'm not denying that culture and religion doesn't affect our opinions on things such as clothes and modesty, but please be careful with generalizing and stereotyping others when sharing your thoughts. For this topic, there isn't much I can say because there is no actual right or wrong in this scenario, so I'm just going to share a little bit of my personal experience. I have lived in the north and south of Brazil, in Italy and England, and I have family in Portugal. In all these countries, you will find women dressed up in all sorts of outfit styles. In the northeast of Brazil, in my coastal tropical hometown, it's common to see women in bikinis off to the shops or the carnival ladies on TV, and I have seen that since I was very, very young, since childhood. In the south of Brazil, that doesn't happen. It's very cold there, so basically everyone bundles up all the time, dressed with scarves, jackets, and coats due to the weather. In Italy, I found out that most women dress really elegantly with high heels and trench coats, and when it's hot weather, also cute, summery, flowery dresses. In England, you see a lot of women with more comfortable clothes, gym outfits, and on a Friday night, you will find some very revealing outfits. Of course, none of these mean that every single person from these places dresses this way, just like my opinion doesn't represent every other woman's opinion. But it is the majority that I personally have observed in my life. As you can see, out of all these countries that I've lived in, all women dressed completely different from each other. But now I ask you, do you know what each one of us women have in common? In all these places, our bodies are sexualized by men, media, and society. This is not because of their swimsuits, not because of their clothes. It's because of misogyny and other extra factors. Clothes are not the source of the problem. That is an undeniable fact. And this is in real life. We are not even mentioning the fact that this is just a video game. Now, for my personal opinion, if you care, I'm all for swimsuits, lingerie, and whatever other styles of clothing we could have. I actually don't even see myself making provocative outfits in the game. I'm not really into that, but I don't want to take away the right to do so from a fellow player. And that's because all my life, I've never wore the clothes that I liked. Me being very tall and curvy in real life only meant that I was being catcalled and stalked since I was 13 years old. I'll let you think about all the things that this means. Growing up, I always thought that I didn't really care about fashion. I didn't really care about clothes. I didn't care about how I was dressing up. Infinite Nikki is the one thing that made me realize that I love expressing myself creatively through clothes. This is new to me. I just found out that was because of Infinite Nikki. And to me personally, this whole situation isn't just about having swimsuits and lingerie in the game. This is also about them changing outfits post-release. This is also about wearing cool armor and fancy dresses that I would never have the financial ability to do so in real life. But I just wanted to offer you varied points of view on these topics so you can make your own opinion. And if you want, you can also share your own opinion with Infold, the developers. To do that, you can simply send an email that I will write down below in the pinned comments. And I'll also link a Reddit post that I found with an example of an email to send in case you're against the censorship as well. I think that instead of pointing fingers towards each other, we will do better if we just focus on organizing our thoughts and communicating that to the developers so they know that the minority is a minority. And, hopefully that gets the change that we need. Lastly, my channel is not a drama channel. This is a safe space. I welcome both criticism and positivity alike. as long as you're respectful. So I welcome you to share your opinions on the comments down below. That's totally fine. I would love to hear them, no matter if you agree or disagree with me or with each other. However, you will have to be respectful when doing so, just like I will be, because if anyone is rude towards anyone else, I will delete your comment and you're just gonna waste your time. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all of the members and patrons who support the channel and make these videos possible, and see you on the next one.
Ryan Little.